Magandang araw mga kasipnayan. Welcome to Sir Ocnic's YouTube channel. In this video, we will define an arc length. Also, we will determine the length of an arc given the measure of the central angle and the radius and vice versa. Arc length is defined as the interspace between the 2 points along a section of a curve. In the given figure, Rx is an arc. The length between point R and point X is the arc length of arc Rx. Given the measure of the central angle in degree measures, the measure of the arc length is given by the formula 2 pi r times theta all over 360, wherein r is the radius and theta is the measure of the central angle. Let's try our first example. Find the length of the arc intercepted by a 45-degree central angle with a radius of 4 centimeters. In the given figure, we were asked to identify the measure of the length of arc Rx. The given facts are radius is equal to 4 centimeters and the central angle which measures 45 degrees. Substituting these values to the given formula, we will then have 2 times the value of pi, which is 3.14, times r, which is 4 centimeters, times the measure of the angle, which is 45 degrees all over 360. This is also equal to 25.12 times the value of 45 over 360, which is equal to 0.125. Getting the product of these two factors, you will arrive at 3.14. That means that the measure of arc Rx is equal to 3.14 centimeters. Find the length of the arc intercepted by a 110-degree central angle with a radius of 5 centimeters. In this figure, we will solve for the length of arc PM. The given facts are radius of 5 centimeters and the measure of the central angle, which is 110 degrees. Substituting these values to the formula, we will arrive at 2 times 3.14 times the value of r, which is 5, times the value of the central angle, or value of the data, which is equal to 110 all over 360. Getting the product with the first three factors, you will have 31.4 times 110 over 360, which is equal to 0.306. Getting the product of these two, you will arrive at 9.61. That means that the measure of RPN is equal to 9.61 centimeters. Let us have our third example. Find the length of the arc intercepted by a 70-degree central angle with a radius of 3 centimeters. In this problem, we will solve for the length of arc BQ. The given facts are radius equals 3 centimeters and the central angle with a measure of 70 degrees. Substituting these values to the formula, we will arrive at 2 times 3.14 times the value of r, which is 3, times the measure of the angle, which is 70, divided by 360. Simplifying the equation, you will then have 18.84 times the value of 70 over 360, which is equal to 0.194. Finding the product of these two numbers, you will arrive at 3.65, which means that the measure of arc DQ is equal to 3.65 centimeters. Find the length of the radius of an 80-degree central angle with an arc length of 15 centimeters. In this problem, we will find the measure of the radius AS or radius AP. The given facts are arc length of PS, which is 15 centimeters, and the measure of the central angle, which is 80 degrees. Substituting these values to the formula, we will arrive at 15 equals 2 times the value of pi, which is 3.14, times r times the measure of the central angle, which is equal to 80 degrees all over 360. The next line of equation would be 15 equals the product of 2 times 2 and 3.14, which is equal to 6.28, times r times the value of 80 all over 360, which is equal to 0.222. Finding the product of the constants at the right side of the equation, we will arrive at 15 equals 1.39 times r. Dividing both sides by 1.39, we will then have r is equal to 10.79. That means that the length of the radius is equal to 10.79 centimeters. Find the measure of the central angle with an arc length of 9 centimeters and a radius of 3 centimeters. Express the answer in nearest hundredths. In this problem, we will identify the measure of the central angle TRB. The given facts are arc BT with a measure of 9 centimeters and radius RT with a measure of 3 centimeters. Substituting these values to the formula for arc length, we will have the arc length of 9 equals 2 times the value of pi, which is 3.14, times the value of the radius, which is 3, times theta or angle all over 360. Finding the product of all the constants of the right side of the equation, you will arrive at 9 equals 18.84 times theta all over 360. Dividing both sides by 18.84, you will have 0.48 equals theta all over 360. Multiplying the whole equation by 360 to eliminate the denominator, we will arrive at theta is equal to 172.8, which means that the measure of the central angle BRT is equal to 172.8 degrees. Let us now summarize what we have discussed in this video. Arc length is defined as the interspace between the 2 points along a section of a curve. The formula in finding the measure of the arc length is given by 2 pi r times theta all over 360, wherein r is the length of the radius and theta is the measure of the central angle. Let us now check your knowledge. Do not forget to pause this video while you are answering our activity. Find the length of the arc intercepted by a 60-degree central angle with a radius of 6 centimeters. In this problem, we will identify the measure of arc length dq. The given facts are radius, which is equal to 6 centimeters, and the central angle with a measure of 60 degrees. Substituting these values to the formula for arc length, we will arrive at 2 times the value of pi, which is 3.14, times the length of the radius, which is 6 centimeters, times the measure of the central angle, which is 60 degrees, all over 360. Multiplying 2, 3.14, and 6, you will arrive at 37.68 times the value of 60 all over 360, which is equal to 0.167. Finding the product of these two numbers, you will arrive at 6.29. That means that the measure of arc dq is equal to 6.29 centimeters. Find the length of the radius of an 85-degree central angle with an arc length of 10 centimeters. In this problem, we will be solving for the length of the radius of the circle. The given facts are arc length of PS, which is 10 centimeters, and the measure of the central angle, which is 85 degrees. Injecting these values to the formula for arc length, we will arrive at 10 centimeters equals 2 times 3.14 times r times the measure of the central angle, which is 85 all over 360. The product of 2 and 3.14 is equal to 6.28 times r times the value of 85 all over 360, which is equal to 0.236. Multiplying 6.28 by 0.236, you will arrive at 10 equals 1.48 times r. Dividing both sides by 1.48, the value of r would be equal to 6.76. That means that the measure of segment AS is equal to 6.76. Find the measure of the central angle with an arc length of 12 centimeters and a radius of 5 centimeters. Express the answer in the nearest hundredths. In this problem, we will be identifying the measure of the central angle BRT. The given facts are arc BT with a measure of 12 centimeters and RT, which is the radius, which is equal to 5 centimeters. Inserting these values to the formula for arc length, we will arrive at 12 equals 2 times 3.14 times 5 times theta all over 360. Finding the product of 2, 3.14, and 5, you will arrive at 12 equals 31.4 times theta all over 360. Dividing both sides by 31.4, you will have 0.38 equals theta all over 360. To eliminate the denominator at the right side, multiply the whole equation by 360, which is equal to theta equals 136.8. That means that the measure of central angle BRT is equal to 136.8 degrees. Thank you for watching Sir Ocnic's YouTube channel. If you think that this video is a big help, hit like, feel free to share, and do not forget to subscribe. Always have fun in learning math.